Hey, everybody, and welcome. New Year's Day. Happy New Year's for everyone. Welcome to 2026. This is our special edition of the Health, Wealth, and Relationships with
Tisa.
and Grant. How about that? How about that? I want to thank everybody for tuning in for our November-December series. Now we're into January. We're really getting deeper into this. So, Miss Tisa, you want to get us started? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, first I want to say Happy New Year's to everybody from Health, Wealth, and Relationships. I hope that your 2025 is in the rear view and you're ready for your 2026. Yay! Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year. And we're enjoying life. You know, I'm live right now in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. If you're not familiar with St. Croix, it's just a little bit, I would say, west of St. Thomas and also St. John. They're all part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and you can see them all in the distance when you're here. I didn't realize they were that close together, but it's a beautiful location. This is the 5-star BDM offices in St. Croix. We also have offices in Miami and Omaha, Nebraska. So, Miss Tisa has been telling me about you got to get intentional. I said, you got to get intentional. Talk to us. And today is that last day you've been talking all week about, so kind of tie that all in, if you will, please.
So happy last day of Kwanzaa, everybody. So the last day of Kwanzaa is faith. Wait a minute. I'm off on my things. I'm looking at the wrong things. Yes, the last day is faith. And so we want to just tie it all together by tying in your faith to all the things you need to do and you need to focus on. Is going to take some faith and some prayer to take it to the next level. So hopefully you'll celebrate. And usually during Kwanzaa, there's a big celebration on the last day. And so if you have any party left in you from the new year, go ahead and celebrate the last day of Kwanzaa with a big celebration of any kind that you would like, hopefully with friends and family.
That's right. And we can. I mean, you've been telling us all about Kwanzaa all week long. We had a great show last week. I think it really builds yourself, it builds your family, and it builds your community if you are intentional about these things. So today is about better than yesterday, a new year blueprint for yourself, for your health, your wealth, and your relationships. We want to get everybody energized this year, especially now in January, where millions of people, they promise themselves that this will be the year everything changes. And then by February, most of them feel like they have failed. Not because they didn't care, not because they weren't disciplined, but because they were never taught how to change without burning out. So I want to get this started, and this conversation is about doing something different this year. So Tisa, how can we get more grounded right now?
So like we said, like you just mentioned, most people have resolutions that they start off real strong at the beginning of the year. And we kind of talked about it in the past. I would like to, if you would, take a different approach to a resolution and just start off with good intentions for yourself in all areas of your life, in your health, wealth, and relationships. When you think about health, wealth, and relationships, we take a holistic approach to your living, right? So we're talking about yourself, your person, but really focus on health as your wealth, and how that all trickles down to your relationships. So moving forward into 2026, we're talking about being better, right? And so everybody's shooting for best. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I just say, start off slow, start off baby steps, start off a year of grace and proactivity. That way, if you're thinking about being proactive, if you're thinking about baby steps, you're setting baby and small intentions that lead to bigger goals.
100% on that, because if we do it with intention, but we have to do it with a little bit of grace. You've often talked about, hey, we're going to get out and get in that gym. This is our moment. We're going to lose some 20 pounds. And then you start firing up on all engines. You get into the gym. But if you haven't been consistent at all about exercise, just to say exercise, and you jump in there, you might hurt yourself. Yes. You got to step into these things. There's a warm-up process, right? Yes. And you talk about taking these little baby steps. It's like you got to take the baby steps, and then as you crawl, you start to walk, and then you start to run with it. And then you start to really becomes a part of yourself, a part of your routine. a part of your habit, so it can be something that is sustained, and it's not such a great effort to get into your daily routine. I think that's so important. I think a lot of these things can also go into your wealth, right? So you start thinking like, you know what, this is going to be that year that I save money, or I'm going to make a financial investment, or I'm going to get better than where I was last year, right? So what does financial stress really look like? A lot of times it's not just your bills. It's not your elevated blood pressure around your bills, the arguments that you may have at home, because we just got through the holidays. We talked about this last week. Well, you spend all this money, you're sitting around like, wow, am I starting the year off in debt when I should be starting the year off in greater happiness? So money stress is definitely a health issue. And wealth isn't about just how much money you make, it's about how much peace you have around money. So baby steps around that. You know what? You maybe were buying some coffee every day last week. That's $5. You start adding all that up. You know what? That's could be $100 a month, that if you took that off your plate, but not just save it, invest it, buy a stock or a bond. Right now, if you buy $100 bond every month, guess what? You could probably get $10 back. And if you change it to 1,000, it's $100. You bought all that coffee and you have now created some more wealth opportunities for yourself. What do you think about that, Tisa?
Absolutely. It all plays into health, wealth, and relationships. What I need to just remind everybody is to meet yourself where you are. A lot of times we are jumping into, especially for health. The gym is the number one, and weight loss is the number one goal for most people every year, really every year. And so, and I think what we don't do is we don't take that self-assessment that we talked about in the last show to meet yourself where you are.
Yep.
People jump into unrealistic expectations. We're talking about the gym, but if you haven't ever been to the gym all year, or you haven't started a gym regimen of any kind, I would say your goal should not be to jump into the gym 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you're not meeting yourself where you are. So baby steps means, how healthy are you now? So take that health assessment, take that wealth assessment, and take that relationship assessment. So for health is my big thing right now. I say take that health assessment. Are you on any medication right now? Are you hypertensive? Do you have any pre-existing conditions? You know, when we talked about COVID coming through, it affected and really killed a lot of people that have the pre-existing conditions. So are you in that category where you have pre-existing conditions? Do you already have heart conditions? Do you already, are you already diabetic? Are you already taking high blood pressure medication? So those things will affect how you move forward. So when you meet yourself where you are, baby steps from where you're at. So if you're pre-diabetic, start doing those things that will get you off that pre-diabetic list, which means change your diet. So it's just being proactive about your health, baby steps, and start where you are, not where the next person is. Start where you are. Meet yourself where you are right now.
Meet your and be honest. Look in that mirror. Nobody else is looking. I'm not looking. No one else is looking, but you're looking at yourself. And if it's all about improvement, that's the thing. You have to be intentional about improving. I do this. I looked at my 2025, even looked at my 2020 all the way through. Like, all right, where do I truly want to be? 2020 was really my last year of what I call working in corporate America. I had to make a choice and an intention, because I went through a layoff. I'm like, hey, I'm getting older in life. I can't keep running through these hoops, starting all over with new jobs, new situations, new people, and then hope everything works out. I'm going to create something for myself that I have control over, that has some freedom around. I've already got years of experience in doing certain things. For me, it was business development and marketing. Let us pull it together. That's the BDM, the business development and marketing. 5-star BDM is around that, brand development mastery. So I put all that together. Here I am now, but 5-6 years later, I have control over my life. And let me tell you, baby steps is exactly what I needed to do. I don't encourage anyone to, you know what, I'm just going to start a new business today and quit my job. That's not the way to do it. You transition over time. There's a lot you have to learn during that journey that you probably don't even know about. Good time to get a mentor as well. Just like when you go training, a lot of times they say, hey, get a physical trainer. They're going to help you so you don't hurt yourself and actually reach a desired goal. I did the same thing, and I am far ahead of the curve if I did not do that. So that's part of that health, wealth, relationships. I think people who focus on small, intentional improvements instead of these gigantic resolutions that everybody just stops doing, and then you turn around like I didn't accomplish anything. And not me saying that, take a look at your 2025, and like Tisa said, do a real assessment. What did I accomplish? What did I fall back on? What did I achieve? What did I grow in? And truly look at that as your playbook and then make the adjustments that you need in 2026.
Yes, yes. Take that faith forward. Take that faith forward, and just make things happen for yourself. And what he's speaking of is sometimes you just need to make a. Sometimes there's life changes that you just have to make because of a loss of a job, or in my case, retirement. And it's just a time to refocus and reset. So take this time to refocus and reset if you need to. It's sometimes scary to do that because if you're, especially when you lose a job or a position, yes, that's something that's totally out of your control, but it's up to you to figure out now what and to reset and refocus. And so
Yeah.
it's a good time to reset anytime. It's a good time to reset any day. So I want our people to, when I'm talking about grace, make sure that when you're trying to do something, if you don't do it that day, try it again the next day. You know what I'm saying? If you don't take as many steps as you were supposed to today, make sure you do tomorrow. So every day is a new day to reset. And so I want people to give yourself grace on any day is a new day to start something new, and any day is a new day to reset.
100. And this is not about perfection, because that'll create even more mental stress when you think you're going to be perfect day one. It doesn't work like that. Nothing grows in life without first, it has to go through an evolutionary process, a life cycle process. So it's about intention, making intention, taking that seed of thought, planting it in some fertile ground, but then you have to nurture it. Me and Tisa had talked about this earlier around relationships, that you can't just get in a relationship or, know someone if that, and that could be friends, family, business, culture. It's a lot of things in the relationship pool. But if you don't nurture the relationship, you see that relationship being strained over time. And then all of a sudden, that relationship is no longer, it is dissolved. And you're wondering why, because you have to be intentional about doing these things. And why do you want this relationship? What is the outcome of that relationship? Not only for yourself, it can't just be self-serving. It's got to serve the whole relationship and that whole ecosystem around that. So let's be intentional. Let's do that one baby step around improving a relationship that's very important for everyone involved, and have that one honest choice about that, and one day at a time. What do you think about that? And when it comes from a relationship standpoint, Tisa?
Absolutely. So when we talk about relationships of any kind, I think people forget to nurture the good ones and improve the bad ones, and sometimes let go of the toxic ones, right? And so I think as we move into 2026, sometimes the old saying is let go, let God. Sometimes in relationship, you have to pull yourself back from relationships that aren't serving you well. As I try to grow and move forward with Pink Lotus and just improving myself, I have to realize everybody can't go on this journey with me. And so I'm going to have to let go of some people. And some people have purged themselves out because they're not supposed to be here right now, right? Okay, so everybody, as you try to improve, just know everybody can't go on the journey with you. Some people you're going to have to let go and refocus on yourself. But I say, as far as relationships, start with yourself. We want to start really talking about self-love. And so the first relationship that you want to have a good relationship with is with yourself. We want to practice on self-love, self-care, self-focus, looking inward, trying to find our own personal balances and our own personal boundaries. And so start with yourself. That's the first relationship you need to have a good relationship. Work on your relationship with your higher being. For me, that's God. We don't want to speak all different types of religion, but everybody should have a higher being. I would say focus on that relationship, because the bottom line is, when it's all said and done, if you need someone to save you, and like my Savior did, it's only one person to call. So you want to continue to build that relationship with your higher being, the person, your creator, and then continue to work on those family relationships. But I will just say self-love first. Start practicing some self-care. Let's talk about self-care a little bit. So we're talking about self-love. Hopefully you have built in some self-love practices. I practice self-love every week as grand enough.
Oh yeah.
And you have to. Look, I pour out 5-6 days a week. One day a week, I do a self-care. I do a self-care Saturday or Sunday. I take one weekend and I pamper myself. I get my nails done. Yeah, I'm flexing sparkles right now. I got my little sparkle for the new year on. Don't be afraid to shine. Don't be afraid to shine. We do self-care. We do massages. We do feet rubs. We do dinner. We do lunch. And we just do girl time, pedicures, manicures, whatever we feel like doing that makes ourselves feel better. That's what we do. So I encourage you to start a self-care regimen. If you don't already have one, start a self-care practice. That includes skincare, self-care, meditation, things that de-stress you. That's self-care. Figure out what those things are. First of all, figure out those things that stress you. Remove them if you can. And if you can't remove them, figure out how to balance that with de-stress methods. The meditation, the sound baths, Joy is Light. I love her. If you can ever attend any of her sound baths, which we had her for our retreat last year, and the ladies loved it, and I think we might bring her back. But if you haven't experienced a sound bath, do something different like that. It just recenters you, refocus you.
I was talking about that sound bath. I'm going to be intentional about that because when you mentioned that to me earlier this year, you said sound bath. Sound bath, what is that? I don't think a lot of people know what that is, and some people that may do, it's like they understand the rhythm and the vibrations that come out of that. It's like, whoa, it's healing. How do you define
it's energy? It's sound waves. Most of our energy is we hear. If we ever close our eyes and we just listen, we still are experiencing everything, all of the sounds and energy around us. And so sound baths are wonderful. It's if you haven't experienced a sound bath, put that on your bucket list to do for 2026.
So tell me, so a sound bath give me a description. Like, what is that? What are you? Is it virtual? Is it in person?
It's an in-person experience. Like I said, if you haven't, attend a Joy is Light event where she does her sound baths. It's in person. She brings these bowls and these instruments that create these sounds like the wind and the rain and thunderstorms and all of these things that trigger different energies and different things inside you when you're just listening. There is no visuals. You are in a closed eye state of mind and you're just listening. Everything is coming in through your ears. And you really get transported to something different. You feel like you're in a tornado. You feel like a wind is coming. You feel like the waves are washing through your body, through your soul. It is so, you have to do it. It's one of those things you have to do and feel to get. So definitely.
Well, so that's on our list. I'm making a list now. So I'm going to definitely be intentional about the sound bath. The other thing that we've talked about, talking to you on the last show, we talked about it again today. Got to sign up for my Tai Chi. Got to get that Tai Chi class. I'm total baby steps with it. I want to make sure this is going to be comfortable for me. I'm going to make a change from just doing the gym that I've been lax on. I got the membership, haven't gone the last couple of months, but I said, you know what? It's routine, but I want to do something different. And to your point, as you age and you go through certain things, you have to let certain things go and adopt new things. I want to adopt Tai Chi. I mean, all of a sudden, you know how Facebook works, and you say Tai Chi, and all of a sudden you get 500 things on Tai Chi, right? So I'm starting to see all this stuff going on Tai Chi, but I think it's something that might work for me at the age that I'm in.
Absolutely. Tai Chi is all about balance and toning and intentional movements, right? We're talking about being intentional. Tai Chi is one of those intentional type practices that takes a discipline of slow moving. Everybody wants to pump it up and move something, step, and dance and pop and pump. And it really takes a discipline to slow it down and to feel each movement and to breathe and to really be a part of and center yourself. So that's what Tai Chi is about. And at 62 and 63, I'm almost 63. When are you gonna be 63?
I'm older than you.
Oh, 63. 62 and 63, you start
I'm older
realizing,
than you by 1 month. I mean, I took
that's
a
okay.
baby step before you stepped on the planet.
That's okay. We look good for 62, right? Just so you know. So, and feel good. So you want to look good and feel good inside and out. And so Tai Chi helps you do that. It just centers
Mhm.
you. And it's about balance. So as
Mhm.
you don't know, now you know, when you get old, you lose your balance and you lose the
Mhm.
ability to be real stable. And Tai Chi really starts to focus and center you so you're more balanced and you flow through life a little more graceful. Yeah, try
I
it.
think that's important. You definitely, if you age, you want to age gracefully.
Graceful.
Yesterday, the Now in St. Croix, a town called Frederickstead, if you get a chance to take a look at it. Here, to give people a better understanding, this is the only location, I'm talking about the U.S. Virgin Islands, that you get an American Caribbean experience. You do not need a passport to come here. So your real ID works. You can just fly down here, no problem. Just a little bit south of
Your
Puerto
real
Rico.
ID.
You
That's funny.
realize you gotta have, to get back
This is
in.
your fake IDs.
No, no, that ain't gonna work. But you know where I'm going with this. But you don't have to go. You're not in another country. People
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to Jamaica or Dominican Republic, or they go to Antigua or Saint Kitts. Those
No
are
passport
different countries.
required.
Yeah. So this is part of America. You have an American Caribbean experience. And what I learned here culturally, wow, you just really, it's the deepening of the African Caribbean American experience in one small island, which I'm at right now, which is St. Croix. But they had a food festival yesterday. So I got a chance to kind of see what kind of different cuisines that they had. I always think about Tisa as I'm going through these things. I see certain things, I send her a picture and say, hey Tisa, check a look at this. I think you got a little pink lotus down here that you're channeling some energy down here because I see it. I'm not kidding you. I've seen so many different things that they look like pink lotus.
That's because
But,
I was supposed to be there.
that's right.
Just so y'all know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was supposed to be live in St. Croix too with Tisa and Grant, but the windstorm. So I don't know if y'all know, we had some flooding on the East Coast and some snow and some crazy, crazy winds. We had some crazy winds here in Omaha, but it hovered over the Atlanta, Georgia, North Carolina area for about 2 days. And so the day I was supposed to leave, it had already stranded the first crew on Sunday, and everybody got pushed to Monday. And so my flight got pushed out, and I
Mm,
couldn't
mm.
get there.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. We definitely
It was a
we
bad winter.
cleared our schedule to have Tisa come down and really enjoy herself, the food festival. So she had to live a little bit vicariously through me. But what I want to get back to that food is that first they took some raw sugar cane, right? Raw sugar cane. And they put it through a mill type of experiment. It's like a crank, and one side the stalk comes out, the other side is pure sugar cane that just comes down into a vase. And then they pour that out, put a little bit of rum in there. That's going to give you a little kick, just a little kick. And then,
It's a rum month.
not much, not much. And then you drink that. She said you drink that. You drink a little bit every day. You will not get sick. You're going to feel energized. You're going to be ready to go. And this woman, I'm looking at her. I said, well, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Oh, I'm 86 years old. I'm like, 80s. This woman looked like she was probably in her 50s. She's 86 years old. She's bouncing. You think Tisa has energy? I think I'm going to put a challenge out there. So I don't know if Tisa can hang with this. This person was just really animated, had a lot of energy, but there was so much other natural foods out there. Now, if you don't mind sharing just a little bit, Tisa, about what do you do intentionally about getting good, healthy nutrition?
So for me, I started practicing eating right a long time ago. So right, so I just be intentional about, easy breezy, right? I'm not vegan. I'm 80/20. So when people ask me like, what is, like, you, 80/20 for me is a balance, right? So 80% of the time, my plate is right. It's very healthy. It's wonderful. Everything is in place. But there's 20% of the time where I'm having probably something that others wouldn't say is so healthy, right? I might be having something fried. I don't eat fried every day. I eat fried maybe once a week, if that. So if I'm having some fried item, that's my 20. Or if I'm having dessert, that's my 20. Or if I'm
Mhm.
having a fatty appetizer, that's my 20. And I think
Yeah.
it's great to have a balance. So 80% of the time I'm doing great. So 20% is not going to kill me, but it will keep me balanced
Balance.
so my body
Mhm.
isn't craving anything. And if I follow my craving, if my body is craving something, I go ahead and get that what it's craving because that's telling me it needs that right now. And sometimes that is that protein. Sometimes it is that beef. Sometimes my body's like, look, you 60. We grew up on beef, so you haven't had that in like 2 weeks. Can we get
Yeah.
a hamburger? I don't eat hamburgers no more, but they might say, "Can we get some chili with some hamburger in it?" I always just put those meats in meals. I haven't had a hamburger, a steak, anything that's just a chunk of meat in so many years, so I don't do that.
Yeah.
First of all, because it takes a long time to digest. So if you're
Mhm.
already having it ground up, if you're already putting it in dishes, you're not eating chunks of meat that's going to take weeks and weeks to digest. So I'm real intentional about not eating chunks of meat, right? So
Interesting. Yeah.
um, meat sometimes looks gross to me. If I see a lot of meat, even in the stores, even if it's chicken, but that's because I've reduced over the years the amount of meat intake I have, right?
Mhm.
I'm really good on seafood and fish 99% of the time, but that 2 or 3% of the time, I'm going to have that beef. I might even have some pork. I might. I ain't took it all of my diet. I have been a,
She will go to the
I will have a pulled
barbecue.
pork
Hey,
sandwich.
hey, the barbecue shack better watch out. She's coming in. She's coming in.
Speak the truth. Speak the truth on a barbecue pulled pork or a brisket sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay. So my deal is balance. Most of the time, you should try to do well. Eat with color on your plate. If you have color on your plate, just simple things. If you look at your plate every time you sit down to eat, if it's brown, then it's all fried and it's probably meat and it's probably potatoes and meat, which means you got
Mhm.
French fries on your plate, right? If
Right.
it's
Right.
always brown, if you don't have any color, that means you ain't got no green beans, no squash, no vegetables on that plate because vegetables have color. You should have
Mhm.
some green, some yellow, some red, eat color. So if you don't see color, find the color. And that could be
Oh,
whatever vegetable fruit you want to have, but you need to eat color. That's
that
my
and
biggest
I noticed that in the
concern.
Caribbean diet here, a lot of color,
A lot of color.
a lot of green and different kinds of green leafy
Absolutely.
type of foods and nutrition. And I'm telling everybody, for one thing I noticed here, no skin problems. I'm like, wow, everybody has really tight, glowing type skin. I know a lot of that's from that, you got 80 degrees, pretty much year round,
The
and
sun,
you're
that
outside, you're in the
vitamin D.
sun. You're not just sitting inside all the time and getting some fresh air, but at the same time, they're also consuming, and it's natural. A lot of those things are not, it grows here. It's a nice act. I'm going to set up some thing called agritech. And we're working with City of Omaha around that, how we can start swapping some ideas and things that could be done and showing how you can improve the diet naturally where you're located and start consuming nutrition that actually will get you healthy. Because if you're taking a lot of pills all the time, those pills are just they're masking the real problem. They're not solving the root cause. That's why you constantly have to take them. But going back to what Tisa was saying, if you kind of get that in the nip it in the bud, meaning if you have good habits around your eating habits, what you're consuming, as well as your exercise, you're going to do well in overall life, and you won't have to take as many medications. But remember that about medications, they're not designed to get you off of them over time. Typically, they're just there, temporarily, to your body of itself starts healing on its own.
And that speaks to proactivity. Try if you're not on medications. I'm not on any medications, and I don't plan to be on any medications until I die. I was a product of two parents that had a pill box, and I think most of us know about the pill box.
Mhm.
And that is by design. That is by design from Big Pharma to have everybody die with the pill box, right?
Mhm.
So by the time you die, they're and America does not want you healthy. Big Pharma does not. And just think, if everybody was healthy, nobody was on medication, where would Big Pharma be, right?
Right.
If people are on medications for a lifetime, they got your money and they got you hooked and your body hooked on a medication for your lifetime. That
Mhm.
means they'll never go broke, right? In the meantime, you'll never get well. You'll never get well.
That's
And
it.
so when we talk about wellness, we're talking about finding those things that are naturally that you can use for your body that will adjust your body. I take soursop and I take
Mhm.
sea moss. Um,
Mhm.
and I blend soursop up in my smoothies. A girlfriend of mine that's in my cancer group makes sea moss. A lot of the people in the group take it. And so those are things that are just natural that you can take to get your body in balance and gives you those things that you need. Even the vitamins take too long to break down. Once they put it in a pill form and they go through even a multivitamin, you literally have to take that every day, kind of like a medication, to get any benefits from a multivitamin, because it's in pill form. It has to break down. It's all chalky, blah, 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 blah. By the time it gets in your system, it's really not enough to do your system a lot of good. So those vitamin Ds, I say take them, but get yourself outside, get some sun, get on a beach.
Natural healing.
Every day, yeah. Even in the wintertime, if you can get outside or if you can sit in the sun, get
fresh air. Just get some fresh air. You got to get some fresh nutrition.
Fresh air, get
and understand you're triggering, like you were saying, triggering your body to heal itself. Your body is a fantastic pharmacy, but you've got to make sure that you give it a chance to operate. Great healer right there. So we're at the end of our show. I wanted to make sure that you got something around health. We just talked about that. You got a little bit about, didn't tone in on health, but wealth is very important. And then you heard a lot about relationships.
Well, your health is your wealth. Can I just say that real quick?
You can.
Your health is your wealth. And as we end, I want people to be more, just try to change your mindset. We talked about mindset, to be more proactive. Proactive in your health, proactive in your wealth, and proactive with your relationships.
And with that said, you got to come back next week, get a little bit more. If you like this show and you want to get more out of it, make sure you hit us with the comments. You can subscribe. We're also on Pink Lotus live on her YouTube channel. So you can, give us some comments. We'll definitely look at these things and have a conversation. We're trying to have a real conversation with our community so we can all have better health, a better wealth, and better
relationships.
Right. Happy New Year, Tisa.
Yes, Happy New Year's, Grant.
All right, we're out.
Peace.
Imagine waking up with more energy, a peaceful mind, and relationships that grow stronger every day. That is the vision Tisa Harden and Grant McGaw want to help you achieve, and it all starts with simple, practical steps you can take this week. On health, wealth, and relationships, every episode brings you real stories and trusted experts. Tisa and Grant focus on 3 tactical steps each week. Small, doable moves that protect your health, grow your savings, and bring you closer to the people you love. No complicated rules, just real progress. Try a clinic-to-kitchen swap to boost your energy. Start a money buffer habit that quietly builds your financial confidence. Or try a 1-minute exercise that helps you reconnect with your partner. These quick wins are not chores. They are steps toward a better life. People who try just one intentional step report more energy, less money stress, and evenings full of laughter again. Join Tisa and Grant. Start small, live bigger. Tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and subscribe now.